Hello, what we have here is another 1960s style guitar. I don't believe it's a flamenco guitar. Whoops. That's the gloss. So the story behind this guitar is definitely 60s. I took it to a luthier. It's got like a two-tone on top, the back, the neck. So this is extremely light. Everything's very light. Listen to this. It's like warm, but then it has some top end, like a flamenco. I put this on here, but it seems to be. I took it to the luthier, and he says it's probably like a guitar from Paracho. There's no tag in here, no indication, but it's all solid wood. And the luthier fixed a little crack that was back here. But he said the wood, the back and sides might be jacaranda. He said jacaranda. And he refinished it a little bit. But this is like literally, it's all solid wood, but it's like super light, you know? Almost feels like a toy. But it has good playability and snap. It's got that snap that the flamenco guitar has. And it's got a lot of low end, which reminds me of a guitar that, I'm not saying, Paco de Lucia played a flamenco guitar, but he loved the cedar tops. I mean, who knows? I'm not 100% this is cedar. But it's solid and it's light. And this, the neck is kind of round, D-shaped. And I sanded it down a little bit, and that lacquer was super thin. And anyways, the fretboard, I don't want to be as bold to say that it's ebony, but it's pretty flat, you know, and dark. And if it is painted, it might be a very thin slice of rosewood or something, because there's a chip in here, and it doesn't look like it's paint. So that's an indication that that might be a slab. So we'll play a little bit. It's got some old school tuners, like, you know, like most of these 60s guitars. But this is kind of the guitar that you record with. So it's got a good, or maybe a mariachi guitar. Kind of guitar that kind of cuts through the mix. But then again, I don't know how loud this would be in the context. I have louder box style guitars. But what this sounds like is the recording. If you put a mic in front of here, it sounds like the recording, like what's on, you know. This is a great recording guitar. So this could be from Paracho. The luthier said that everything, the fact that it has, you know, some binding to it, that the bracing had a certain style of fan bracing, but the action is super low, you know, no truss rod. It smells, you know, like a certain type of wood. I purchased this, very inexpensive. And the playability is phenomenal, man. It's like one of those guitars that you can sound good, and you don't have to be very professional. A friend of mine would call that a butter guitar. Sounds great, butter top, butter looks. Thing about flamenco guitars that I don't, I don't know, not that I don't like, that I've never become accustomed to. It's just that it's real, you gotta really dig into those. This one, no way. You would figure it'd be a cheap guitar. You're like, oh, that's a cheap guitar. But it's got the little bit of snap. That buzz, that's like a little bit of that flamenco buzz. Again, super thin top. Listen to that. Super thin top. This is definitely 60s. I'm going to start recording with this guitar. As soon as I can. Because most of my guitars have a pickup. And I run the pickup into my acoustic simulator. Yamaha. AG Stomp. Took the capo off. That's a lot of snap. That's too much snap for my buck. See, there goes me overplaying because a lot of the good guitars, the good classical guitars that I've played have all been easy to play. They're very finicky. And trust me, I am not one of these type of players. I'm a pick 100% of the time. And this does sound okay with a pick too. Okay, well, it's probably out of tune because I tuned it with a capo. Again, I can tell this guitar is not meant to be played in a big ensemble, This might be considered a beginner's guitar. I think the luthier helped, brought this down, the saddle down a little bit. Not much more to say, but this guitar makes me want to pick it up every day. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for a guitar that makes you want to pick it up every day. One of my first teachers, Marcos Loya, used to have his guitars all up in his room, because the maturity of the instrument and the wood needed to mature, and color. He kept the room, I don't know if he had a humidifier in the room, but I put a little sponge in there with the plastic. So it's warm enough for me to get some ideas out. As guitarists, man, we put these things into categories. Oh, this is a great pickup in the morning guitar, and I can practice, and I can do lessons, and Skype, and we make excuses. But I've purchased instruments that never left the case. Why? For one reason or the other, man. Now, good thing is that this is probably 2 inches, normal classical, with a nut. It's a bone nut, This thing was a big old thing. Luthier shaved it down. In other words, there's nothing really special about this instrument. What makes it special is how it feels when I'm playing it. I'm going to tell you the story right before I end this. So I was looking on OfferUp, as we all do, and the story is I was looking for a case, an old case. I wanted a vintage classical case. So this came with a vintage classical case. It was all beat up. It's one of those with a music note on it from the 60s, and it's like velvet, red velvet inside. So they had the picture of the case, but then there was this picture right here. They got me. And I said, you know what? That looks like a much more expensive guitar, or a solid body guitar. I went down to the guy's house. He said, $50. I said, yes, thank you very much. It did have some ugly varnish back here and a few nicks. But this guitar is gonna save me from buying other guitars. That's what I'm talking about. And that was it. And then it had a crack in here though, and I think that was one of the main reasons. And I took it down to my local luthier, and he did a great job on it. And that cost me and he did a little refin on here, He fixed the nut here, maybe the action, and then a couple things were cracked, a couple fan braces were cracked on the inside. But I forgot where the crack was. See, that's how good he is. Oh, it was down here. Right here. That was a big crack, and right here or something, yeah. So he charged me another $160. And so roughly about $200. Offer me $200. Thank the Lord. I don't need it. I wouldn't need to sell this instrument for $200. Is it worth $200? Probably, I don't know, probably not. You go to a professional guitarist or whatever, probably not. A buddy of mine said that he saw the back, that the back was bowed, that it was bowed or something. He says, no, you know what, somebody made this, made this in the garage, or, kind of like the Mexicano style, ahí en el fábrico. So, I have no idea, but it's got a lot of the characteristics that I've come to understand about guitars that I'm accustomed with. Let me see if I play it. I mean, if I play it real low, the strings on here are in normal tension to Dario's Dynacore. You can't overplay it, see? Which makes it fine because all right, y'all, be good. I mean, it's not for sale, but you never know. But I'm just kidding. Maybe not. I don't know. But it's a really nice instrument, so don't pass them by. Don't pass them by. That's my my suggestion. I made another videos from a guitar a neighbor gave me. I cleaned it up and I lowered the tuning, right? So when I work with a buddy of mine who doesn't sing everything in the normal key, he sings it a whole step down. His guitar is a whole step down. So now my guitar can be a whole step down without investing, too much into practicing with him. This guitar is for me. It gives me more confidence too. All right, y'all, be good.